It's come on the eve of Navratri and on the eve of GST 2.0 reforms kicking in. The Prime Minister's address to the nation highlighting the transformative power of GST 2.0. He's emphasized how it is set to revolutionize Bharat's economy, referred to the new reforms as a grand Bachat Utsav, a celebration of savings that will benefit the growing neo-middle class, a word, viewers, he had used some time ago to identify with the class that has supported him solidly. Prime Minister Modi also said that with GST 2.0, the vision of one nation, one tax has been realized and his government has simplified a once complicated tax system. The reforms, along with tax cuts, are designed to boost the well-being of every citizen with a focus on fostering a society where the motto Nagarik Devo Bhava rings true. Well, that's what the Prime Minister said, highlighting the public good. He noted that GST reforms would help citizens save an estimate of 2.5 lakh crores, further accelerating India's growth story. The Prime Minister, in his address to the nation, also pushed for self-reliance and asked the states to play their part by fostering a culture of investment, enabling India to be globally competitive. Finally, the Prime Minister urged every Indian to buy and be proud of Swadeshi, which is Make in India products. Needless to say, GST 2.0, with its focus on simplification, empowerment, is not just an economic reform. It is indeed a step towards a self-sufficient and proud India. This is what the Prime Minister said a short while ago. And what's most important in all of that, viewers, is he's practically stepping into the festive season with a promise of Sabka Muh Meetha Hoga. Well, will it happen is something that we're going to debate in the next 20 minutes, but hear him out, the Prime Minister's address to the nation.
नवरात्रि के पहले दिन से देश आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान के लिए एक और महत्वपूर्ण और बड़ा कदम उठा रहा है। कल यानी नवरात्रि के प्रथम दिवस 22 सितंबर को सूर्योदय के साथ ही नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लागू हो जाएंगे। एक तरह से कल से देश में जीएसटी बचत उत्सव शुरू होने जा रहा है। इस जीएसटी बचत उत्सव में आपकी बचत बढ़ेगी और आप अपनी पसंद की चीजों को और ज्यादा आसानी से खरीद पाएंगे। हमारे देश के गरीब, मध्यम वर्गीय लोग, न्यू मिडिल क्लास, युवा, किसान, महिलाएं, दुकानदार, व्यापारी, उद्यमी, सभी को ये बचत उत्सव का बहुत फायदा होगा। यानी त्योहारों के इस मौसम में सबका मुंह मीठा होगा। देश के हर परिवार की खुशियां बढ़ेगी। मैं देश के कोटि-कोटि परिवारजनों को नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स की और इस बचत उत्सव की बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। ये रिफॉर्म भारत की ग्रोथ स्टोरी को एक्सेलरेट करेंगे, कारोबार को और आसान बनाएंगे, निवेश को और आकर्षक बनाएंगे और हर राज्य को विकास की दौड़ में बराबरी का साथी बनाएंगे।
All right, so that was the Prime Minister's address to the nation announcing the Bachat Utsav, the GST bonanza. I want to bring in my guest to discuss, would it be as simplistic of boosting consumption, which in turn will aid demand, which in turn will help in savings and help the economy? Will it be as simplistic as that? What furthermore is needed? Let's cut across to our panelists this evening. Shankar Iyer, author, political economist; Sanjeev Ahluwalia, distinguished fellow, Chintan Research Foundation expert in economic governance and energy regulations. We'll also get in political opinion. Dr. Shamma Mohammed, National Spokesperson, Congress, and Dr. Said Zafar-Islam, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Iyer, to come to you, all of this at a time where the Prime Minister promises that there will be savings to the effect of 2.5 lakh crore, comes in at a point where household debt has never been lower. Shankar Iyer, can you hear me? All right, we seem to be having a bit of a problem to connect to Shankar Iyer. But Sanjeev Ahluwalia, would you want to take that question? 2.5 lakh savings is what the Prime Minister promises, but it also comes in where household savings are at its lowest.
Yes, I hope I can be heard.
We can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
That's right. So I think this is what the PM has said in his address today. And of course, the question which remains unanswered is whether people will actually spend this money or save it. And frankly, the word bachat can be interpreted in either way, that either people should save this money and invest in the stock market or in such financial securities which are likely to give good returns, or should they actually just go ahead and spend it? So to take this decision, I think it's important to look into the consumer's mind. And I think this is a little bit of a strength of this GST reform, because it's timed very well, I would say, to dispel the doom and the gloom, which was imposed on us by President Trump's tariffs. And you can see the result on the stock market, that, it gives you a little bit of a lift, that despite everything that we heard, which could go wrong with the Indian economy, we are likely to have more money in our pockets to spend, which is a good thing. How we spend it is really up to us. But I would like to say one more thing, that, if for this to be a complete reform, we should also, in the next phase, look at removing some of the procedural issues which are related to GST. Right. And for example, a simple thing, I would say that we do have one nation, one tax has been implemented now. But what we don't have is one nation, one tax, and one GST ID. Because if there's a small businessman, entrepreneur, or a management consultant, right, who has an office in Noida, in Delhi, and in Gurgaon, they have to file and maintain 3 GST accounts. Very, very cumbersome. So I get a lot of other instances like this where that GST procedural reform, right, would be the next step. But as far as the tax bonanza is concerned, it's significant, it's big. So I would urge everybody who's listening to go ahead and use it responsibly.
Well, the Prime Minister also said that it also ties into the income tax cuts that were made earlier this year. But I want to bring in Shankar Iyer into this conversation. Shankar Iyer, is it as simplistic as that? That, it will completely tie into consumption, then raise demand? Or, are you a little wary of that? Especially at a point, Mr. Iyer, where household savings are at their lowest, number one. And the true test of, GST 2.0, whether it's really boosted consumption, we'll only know after the 3-week festive period, because in the next 3 weeks, in any case, because you're reaching Diwali time, purse strings are a little looser at this point of time. So there is, in effect, going to be a boost in consumption. But will it be a testament to the GST reforms?
Well, Preeti, when the going gets tough, governments have to get going. So this is a classical case of political entrepreneurship. You have a situation where India's exports are going to be hurt by the drama that is around the Trump tariffs. You have an issue with domestic consumption. So the Prime Minister has timed this to perfection, that it is addressing an economic concern, that of consumption, and it is also addressing a political demand just before Bihar elections. Remember, most GST reforms have been timed before the elections. So remember the Khakra tax, for instance. So this is a very welcome move. I mean, whether this proves whether the GST, I mean, I don't know whether you can call it GST 2.0 or 3.0, because GST has been changed at least 5 times in 7 years. And so those are all things, matters of messaging. The Prime Minister is very good at his messaging. So he has
True.
come on the day before
And the messaging,
Navratra,
Shankar
the day
Iyer,
before.
includes all the words which he's used before: neo-middle class, sabka muh meetha hoga. This is very Prime Minister-esque. You know, he's always used these words earlier as well.
But I would say that it is very Modi. This is his, he does it like a rangoli. He will use the neo middle class, Nagrik Devo Bhava. But as Ahluwalia pointed out, Nagrik Devo Bhava has a long way to go.
Right.
Whether this addresses the concern of the economy and job creation, I think much more needs to be done.
Right.
The state governments have to sort of show up and do the reforms that is necessary. If the Prime Minister thinks Nagrik Devo Bhava, then entrepreneurs should be freed of the 60,000 plus compliances and things must be made simpler. So I think there's a long way to go, but this is a welcome step.
Well, there are concerns. There are MSME concerns. There are concerns by the states as well, and they've been raised, especially in the council meet before. But I want to cut across to our political guests, and we'll come back to our two other experts there. But Dr. Shama Mohammed, Der Aaye Durust Aaye is something that the Congress has said earlier. Are you now happy that at least the GST reforms have kicked in with what you wanted maybe 8 years earlier, but it's happened?
Preeti, if in India's history there will be a prime minister who lies and who's a hypocrite, that will be Narendra Modi. Now let's look at it. Why did it happen right now? Two questions. One, of course, Bihar elections, and the other is the tariffs put by the Americans. We have 50% tariffs. On top of us, you know what has happened to the H-1 visa, $100,000 for the first time. And on top of that, we had on the Chabar port, they had said that the sanctions will not be, there was a sanctions waiver from 2018, so they're going to stop that waiver. So we are attacked from all sides by the Americans, and they've got to the Pakistanis. Now let us look at the GST. During the COVID time, when it was such a difficult time for all of us, what does he do? He puts 18% GST on pencils, bicycles, utensils. Who uses? Every child uses a pencil. Utensils, of course, used by the poor. The rich have cars, bikes. Middle class has the bikes and even cars, but the poor go by bicycles. Let's not forget that. Then what does he do? He talks about Swachh Bharat, 18% GST on soap, shampoo, toothpaste, and toothbrush. Isn't he a hypocrite if he's talking about Swachh Bharat? Most difficult time for all of us. Then 5% GST on dal, atta, curd, milk, the basic things poor people have. And the man has the audacity, the Prime Minister, to say, I'm giving you something, because he's given nothing. He has given nothing other than lying to the people. This doesn't make any difference. Like you said, the household savings at the lowest. Americans have left us. And let's understand one important thing. America...
But the fact is, Dr. Mohammed, I want to bring in Dr. Said Zafar-Islam, but let me ask you a question. This is exactly what you wanted. The two slabs is something that Rahul Gandhi suggested through and through. Why aren't you taking credit for it instead of criticizing it? Dr. Mohammed, that's for you.
No, I didn't get the question. What did you say?
I'm saying, you're getting into criticizing it, but this is something that you wanted all along.
No,
You've had Rahul Gandhi who wanted the two slabs. You should be taking credit for it instead of saying that it doesn't work.
No, we wanted 8 years ago. Now, what I'm saying is the Prime Minister of India, the way he's saying is that he's getting us something. He's doing something for Diwali, for Navratri. That is what I'm criticizing. Of course, Rahul Gandhi, I've tweeted it multiple times. Rahul Gandhi said in 2017.
Okay, but no harm done. But no harm done, Dr. Mohammed, coming in on the eve of the festive season for the next 3 weeks. This is welcome respite. And we are putting out all the kind of products that are going to be way, way cheaper. But I want to bring in Dr. Syed Zafar-Islam. Dr. Syed Zafar-Islam, too little, too late is what the Congress is saying. Number one, that's a political question. Number two, will it actually trickle down to the neo-middle class, which the Prime Minister was speaking of, keeping in mind the bureaucracy? There are concerns where the MSME comes in. Is it as simplistic to suggest that by the GST 2.0 reform, if we may call it that, plus the tax cuts earlier, income tax cuts, we'd be saving 2.5 lakh crores?
Preeti, I would expect others not to interrupt. Likewise, I had not interrupted anyone. But let me respond to the questions you have posed. First of all, this is a historic decision which has been made by the government, and particularly I'm talking about the GST Council, which has made a historic decision because it's a far-reaching impact. I would dare to say even then that whatever the impact which we had in 1991 through the economic liberalization, I think this will be at par or maybe exceed the impact on the Indian economy, because the three basic objective which has been achieved through one stroke of pen. One, that it definitely it will touch the life of every citizen of this great country. Every citizen who consume on a daily, whatever they consume, whether it's milk, whether it's curd, all these things have been made zero GST. Then the groceries have been made at 5%. The other things which have been also like shampoo and all things have been also reduced substantially. And the middle class, what they require is like air condition, the television also have been reduced from 28% to 18%. So every person's interests have been safeguarded in this GST reform. Secondly, the business community, which has been the biggest beneficiary, because MSME, which is the backbone of the manufacturing in India, if they were struggling because of the multiple disconnect they had in terms of the various rate, whether it's 0%, 5%, 18%, 12%, 18%, 28%. But that has been simplified and it has been made very fair for everyone, because MSME, the concern that there are only two slabs and now they are very comfortable with these two slabs. Their other concern of the refund has been also adequately addressed. 90% refund will be made immediately available. They were struggling with the working capital, that also has been addressed, and the compliance issue, whether that also has been adequately addressed, and it is made digitally. So they are extremely happy, and this will bring a lot of buoyancy in the economic activities as well, and the GDP growth will translate to GDP growth as well. Third thing is, the Honorable Prime Minister has very candidly spoken. No, 10 seconds only. They very candidly spoken about the self-reliance, to become self-reliant. This particular instance, this will also the Honorable Prime Minister has very
I want to bring in our two experts right now, because I'm running short of time.
We need to become self-reliant, and this will help.
I just want to bring in the experts.
Last point.
Okay, sir, 10 seconds. Make your last point.
I don't know what's wrong with the
Dr. Shama Mohammed, hold that.
They have no patience.
Nobody can hear anyone. Okay, I'm going to just put the faders down. Both political. I'm going to come back to you once either of you come down. 1 second. Can I just get Shankara here? Can we put the faders down for the political spokespersons? I'll come to you for 30 seconds. Please, let's not waste time. I already don't have time on this bulletin. But Shankar Iyer, will we see a spin-off effect of this? Will we see the RBI cutting interest rates, which are already way too high?
Well, Preeti, the template in India is Majburi ka naam reform.
Right.
So politicians are compelled to present necessity as a virtue. So we will hear many versions of how this will transform India and all. My hair has gone grey since 1991. So, I mean, Zafar might want to read my book, Accidental India, and see whether it actually transformed or not. But the point is that this is a welcome step. But there are many more things. The BJP rules 15 states, they need to do much more on labor, land, and other issues, factors of productivity to get things going. GST itself has many issues. You know, input taxes are higher than output taxes. So those are things that need to be resolved.
I'd like to bring in Sanjay. I apologize, Mr. Iyer. I'm cutting you short, but that's the sad part. I only have a half-hour show, and I want to bring in Sanjeev Ahluwalia, whose incidentally here is grayer than yours with what you referred to. So, Sanjeev Ahluwalia, to bring you in on this, will we see the impact immediately? Because the next 3 weeks, in any case, consumption is going to be, at an all-time high. You're hitting festive season. People are a little, more indulgent at this time. The true test should only be seen after the next 3 weeks.
Sorry, I didn't get your question, Preeti.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay, sir, just concluding statements. I don't have much time. 30 seconds, Mr. Ahluwalia.
Concluding statements, yeah, sure, right on. Look, I think that nobody can take away from the Prime Minister or the BJP that they have timed this particular reform excellently, which is, as I said earlier, it is to dispel the doom and the gloom which was catching hold of India in general, investors and consumers. So that's one. On the other hand, I have no doubt that the BJP, being the kind of party it is not rest on its laurels, and further reforms will follow.
Okay.
At this stage, we cannot really say more than that, except to say
very well timed. I once again apologize. I want to give in 20 seconds each to Dr. Shama Mohammed and Dr. Zafar-Islam. And it is well timed, viewers, because especially the address to the nation, it came in right before the cricket match, and we're going to head into a pre-match discussion at 7:30. But Dr. Mohammed, 20 seconds, keep it short, make your point.
I think both the economist sitting here has told you rightly. I mean, there is nothing about it. He times it well just because to fool the people of India. We want to know, what did he do with all the GST he has got in the last 8 years? What did he do with it? We don't see it anywhere out there. Middle class has got nothing in this country. Every time he gives out speeches, and whatever Rahul Gandhi has been saying from day one, that reduce it, make it, because all
20 seconds.
GST,
ma'am, allow me a hard cut here.
No,
20, ma'am, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I'll give exactly the same amount of time to Dr. Islam. Dr. Islam, 20 seconds of final concluding statements. Can we get the fader down of Dr. Ma'am, I don't have the time. I'm trying to give both of you equal time. 20 seconds, sir. Keep it short.
I think this will be the best Diwali. I personally feel this will be the best Diwali in the last 5 decades, because everything, whatever the decision has been taken, will benefit the end consumer. And we will ensure, as a government and as a party, we are going nook and corner to sensitize everyone that the benefit has to be passed on to the end consumer, and this will eventually happen, and the consumer will be happy.
All right, okay.
They will have more
Dr.
in their pocket.
Now, allow me a hard cut there as well. With that, I'm going to close the show with what the Prime Minister said. Sabka muh meetha hoga. Will it actually happen? Well, we're going to keep a keen eye on developments. For now, a welcome move, but is it as simplistic as we will end up saving 2.5 lakh crore rupees? Well, time will tell. And trust India Today to keep you one up on all developments on that. Thank you, our panelists, for joining us. Up next is my colleague Nikhil.